In John chapter 2, from 1 to 10, as we see, it describes about the wedding of Cana. I want you to take to the wedding of Cana. There was a grand celebration, and in Jewish culture, a wedding would be conducted for 7 days in a week, and people would be thronging to be in the wedding party. And so they have to serve them with plenty of food and plenty of wine. In this chapter, as we see, there were 6 stone jars of wine. Mother Mary was there, invited for the wedding. Jesus was invited for the wedding. His disciples were invited for the wedding. And they were all in the wedding banquet feast. And the wine, there was no wine in the jars. What will they do? They were so panicky, and finally Jesus' mother came to Jesus and said, there was no wine. What are we going to do? And he asked them to fill the jar with water. Not only that, he asked the servants to draw some out and give it to the master of the banquet to taste it. The master of the banquet, when he received the wine which was in the jar, he did not know where this wine came from. But then the servants who poured the water into the jar, they knew where the wine came from. When the master of the banquet tasted it, the quality was superb. It was fantastic. It was so tasty. The first act Jesus did while performing the miracle is, he asked the servants to fill the jar with water. And when he asked the servants to fill it, the servants immediately obeyed Jesus' command, and they filled the jars to the brim. They did a thorough job. Not only that, Jesus asked them to draw some of the wine out and give it to the master of the banquet. They did 2 jobs. They filled the jar, and then they drew the wine from the jar and gave it to the master of the banquet. What does that mean? For us to fill our cups, fill our jars with water, the first thing we have to do is to empty our cup, which is inside us. That is, empty the knowledge we are having in our knowledge inside. Let me tell an instance and explain this. Bruce Lee, who was a film actor and also a well-known martial artist, he once tried to teach a master of martial arts with his knowledge. And when he was doing that, he asked the master of the martial artist to hold 2 cups full of water. And in 1 cup, it had the knowledge of the master artists. And in the other cup, he said, you have to have my knowledge of martial arts. And he said to him, if you want your cup to be filled with my knowledge, you have to empty your cup of your knowledge. So the first act we are going to do today for our spiritual growth is to empty our cups by turning our cups upside down. For example, what about 3 months a newborn child, when it grows to 3 months, it turns around. When it turns around, the parents feel so happy and they tell everyone that our baby has turned around. It has done the first act of its growth. And in the same way, when we turn around, when we take a new turn, God feels so happy, and He would tell all the angels in heaven, saying, "My son, my daughter has turned around, and I feel so happy." And He'll be rejoicing with all the angels in heaven, isn't it? So today God expects you to make a new turn, saying goodbye to all your temptations, all your past sins. You're all going to say goodbye to every one of your temptation. Today, everyone, you should cry aloud, saying, "Lord, I'm not able to overcome my temptation, Lord. I'm not able to leave my past sins, Lord. Help me to take a new turn. Help me to take a new turn, Lord." That's what Jesus said in Matthew 18:3. Unless you become like a little child and make a U-turn, you will by no means enter into the kingdom of heaven. Today, every one of you take a decision to turn around. Make a U-turn right now. Make a U-turn right now. No guilt, no blemish should be there in your soul.